Hi up, Oriani. It's a gift receipt is not a logic immunity pass, but a lot of people in America treat it like a get-out-of-jail-free card in a video game. The return counter is where all the rules of real life get temporarily hung on a coat rack. Customers walk in with an unshakable belief that their feelings matter more than the policy taped to the wall. The employee behind the counter learns 3 survival skills: smile, nod, and take a very deep breath. Because every gift receipt placed on the counter is a brand new logic test about to be pushed to its absolute limit. Story 1. Returning a gift because it was offensive due to a discount. If you ever thought buying something on sale was simply about saving money, congratulations, you have never truly explored the psychological depths of certain American customers. In that world, the listed price is not just a number, it is a measurement of human dignity. And when a gift is purchased at a discount, economics briefly steps aside to make room for an emotional tragedy. Logic waits in the corner while the ego stands in the middle of the store, arms crossed. Our main character is a grown adult, well-dressed, who walks into the store holding a brand new item in a carefully aged rage like a fine bottle of wine. He is not mad because the product is broken, not because of bad service. He is mad because he found out the person who gave him this gift bought it during a sale. In that moment, he no longer sees himself as someone who was valued, but as a lucky inventory item picked before it sold out, and that is when the manager gets called. Story 2. Returning a monogrammed bathrobe. Because rules are rules. If you believe that an item with a stitched name automatically escapes all return policies, then you have forgotten one important truth. American customers never lose an imaginary argument. All it takes is a gift receipt, and suddenly logic is put on trial under the spotlight of personal feelings and customer-invented law. The main character walks into the store holding a spotless white bathrobe with a very clear name stitched across the chest, a name that belongs to absolutely no one he knows. He confidently declares that this is not personalized but simply a technical mistake. According to him, a gift receipt is basically a legal contract that forces the store to issue a refund, no matter whose name is stitched on it. The employee behind the counter enters a state of unbelievable balance, explaining store policy while also trying to keep a neutral face to avoid accidentally offending the customer's imaginary constitution. Story 3. Returning a personal care device after just trying it. If you ever thought the phrase personal care implied privacy, modern retail would like a quiet laugh. Over here, the line between new and deeply experienced is sometimes just a matter of opinion. And the customer's opinion, as usual, is extremely flexible. Our main character shows up with a personal care device that looks like it has lived a full and meaningful life. On the surface, there are marks so obvious you do not need a forensic expert to conclude this item was not alone. However, the customer reassures everyone with the classic line, "I only tried it." According to his explanation, trying it can include plugging it in, running it at full power, and testing performance under real-world conditions. The employee behind the counter slowly nods, trying to process the return, while their brain quietly updates the definition of the word tried Sunday. Story 4. Returning a giant stuffed animal because it no longer matches life energy. If you think stuffed animals are just lifeless toys, then you have never met customers who believe every object carries spiritual vibrations. In this world, dirt is not always the problem. The real issue is that it is no longer aligned with who I used to be. Science stays quiet. Feng Shui clears its throat. Our main character shows up carrying a giant stuffed animal so big it requires 2 arms and a strong will to survive. On the surface are mysterious stains, quietly telling the story of a very active past. However, the customer insists this is not from misuse, but because his life energy has changed since the purchase. According to him, the stuffed animal used to resonate perfectly with an earlier version of himself, but now it no longer provides emotional support. The employee behind the counter slowly nods, trying very hard not to laugh while internally wondering if the store has a return policy for spiritual awakenings. Story 5. Returning a game but demanding cash because it is my money. If you ever thought store credit was a polite compromise solution, sorry, some people see it as a disguised property seizure. In the minds of certain customers, cash is not just a payment method, it is a constitutional right, and anything else smells like a conspiracy. Our main character walks into the store holding an opened game box with a face serious enough to swear in before Congress. He demands an immediate cash refund. When the employee calmly explains that policy only allows store credit, the customer nods and then pulls out his phone to call the police. According to him, the store is illegally holding his money. The air instantly freezes. The employee freezes. The customer freezes. The game box sits on the counter like evidence in an active investigation. Before the police even arrive, everyone is left standing in painfully awkward silence where nobody wins and nobody knows what the next line is supposed to be. Story 6. Returning a tech box. But the inside is not tech. If you think that at the very least a tech product box should contain a tech product, then you are thinking far too logically. In retail, the box is merely a promise, and that promise can easily be replaced by a customer's very creative imagination. Our main character places the box on the counter with an extremely calm expression. The seal is intact. The box is not damaged. Everything looks perfect until it is opened. Inside, instead of a tech device, is a collection of completely unrelated objects, as if someone played an advanced level of secret gift exchange. However, the customer firmly insists that this is exactly how he received it. According to the customer, the responsibility lies entirely with the store, the shipping universe, or some mysterious third-party force. The manager is forced to step in and explain the obvious boxes do not magically generate fake contents. The room falls into silence where the truth is so clear, there is nothing left to argue about. Story 7. Returning clothes with an immortal gift receipt. If you think time has the right to interfere with return policies, then you have underestimated the power of a gift receipt. To some customers, when a piece of paper does not list an expiration date, it is not missing information, it is making a permanent statement. Clocks can move, calendars can flip, but rights stay exactly where they are. Our main character walks into the store with a set of clothes carrying the unmistakable energy of a decade long gone. He places a gift receipt on the counter, so old it looks freshly excavated. When the employee explains that the store changed ownership years ago, the customer frowns, genuinely confused, as if corporate history were just an unverified rumor. According to his logic, the receipt does not list an expiration date, so it must still be valid regardless of who owns the store. The employee stands still in a strange overlap between past and present where logic quietly steps away to avoid further complications. Story 8. Returning decor because it is just too ugly. If you ever thought home decor was simply a matter of personal taste, then you have underestimated the emotional damage an ugly object can cause. In modern retail, ugly does not just ruin a room, it has the power to disrupt the life energy of a fully grown adult. Art quietly exits, emotions take over. Our main character walks into the store and places a decorative item on the counter, like it is evidence in an ongoing investigation. He firmly states that the item is too ugly, so ugly that every time he looks at it, his mental state immediately declines. This is not about taste. This is about long-term psychological impact and overall quality of life. Returning the item is not enough. The customer also demands to file a complaint against whoever is in charge of purchasing for the store, because in his opinion, someone made a dangerously poor aesthetic decision. The employee stands still, trying not to laugh, while wondering if the store has a policy for visual trauma. Story 9. Returning a gift card. Because the experience is not guaranteed. If you think a gift card is just a piece of plastic used for payment, then you have not fully understood the emotional expectations of certain customers. To them, a gift card does not just purchase products. It also purchases emotions, attitudes, and the consistent happiness of the person behind the counter. When that is not clearly guaranteed, risk enters the picture. Our main character walks into the store holding a completely unused gift card. He asks to return it because the store cannot guarantee that every time he shops there, the employees will always be cheerful, friendly, and radiating positive energy. According to him, if the experience is not guaranteed, the gift card becomes an emotionally risky investment. The employee stands there listening, trying to locate a policy section related to human mood. At this point, logic has traveled so far away that all written rules can do is stand on the sidelines. Story 10. Returning a promotional gift for cash because of emotional value. If you ever thought promotional gifts were just free extras for fun, then you have not gone deep enough into the concept of emotional value in modern retail. To some customers, even if an item has no clear monetary value, it still carries emotional meaning that can absolutely be converted into cash. And when systems fail to keep up with feelings, conflict begins. Our main character walks into the store holding a small promotional item, the kind usually given away with a purchase. He asks for a refund even after the employee explains that its refundable value is essentially zero. According to the customer, the system may label it as free, but the emotions he felt when receiving it and later feeling disappointed were very real. The customer insists emotional value matters more than any price list. The employee stands still staring at a system with no column for emotional damage and realizes that some requests cannot be processed by software or policy. Story 11. Separating a gift set to return each item individually. If you think a gift set is sold together purely for convenience, some people see it as an opportunity for asset optimization. In this mindset, buying a bundle is only the first step. The real value comes from separating it and returning each piece in the most personally beneficial way. The system calls it a bundle. The customer calls it strategy. Our main character walks into the store with a gift set that has been neatly taken apart. He asks to return each item individually because, according to him, every product has a different life cycle and satisfaction level. Keep what you like, return what you do not. That is smart, personal asset management. The employee patiently explains the concept of a bundle. Products are sold as a set, and their value only exists when the set is complete. The customer listens, nods slowly, and then asks, "But what if I no longer feel anything for one of the items?" The room goes quiet as business theory collides head-on with emotional optimization. Story 12. Returning used underwear and the uncomfortable argument. If you think underwear is a clear and unquestionable boundary for return policies, then you have not met customers who place emotions above hygiene. In this world, rules are just suggestions, and personal feelings are the final standard of judgment. Our main character shows up with a piece of underwear that has very clearly been used and not subtly. When the employee refuses the return due to hygiene, reasons the customer immediately reacts strongly. According to him, the refusal has nothing to do with policy, but is actually a disguised form of body shaming. He feels judged, hurt, and disrespected. The employee tries to stay calm, explaining that this rule applies to everyone and has nothing to do with body type or personal characteristics. But the conflict is now obvious. One side stands on hygiene standards, the other stands on personal feelings. The air grows heavy in a situation where no answer can fully satisfy both sides. Story 13. Returning a household item after many years because friendship is forever. If you think household items have a clear and limited lifespan, then you have overlooked one important factor: emotional attachment. To some customers, pots, pans, and machines are not just tools, they are companions, and when a friendship lasts long enough, they believe the store should also take responsibility and show understanding. Our main character appears with a household item that has faithfully served for many years. The surface shows clear signs of time. The function is no longer perfect, but the emotions remain fully intact. He asks to return the item because he believes the relationship between him and the product is long-term, even permanent. According to him, the store should respect that bond. The employee gently explains that return policies are based on time limits and product condition, not emotional attachment. The store's logic is not designed to operate on personal feelings. The room grows quiet where friendship meets the cold and immovable limits of the system. Story 14. Demanding a tax refund for a gift he did not buy. If you think only the person who paid has the right to request a tax refund, then you have underestimated the creative flexibility of customer logic. In some minds, tax is not tied to a transaction, it is tied to justice. And if justice has not been served, the store should obviously take responsibility on behalf of the government. Our main character walks into the store holding a gift he received from someone else. He is not asking to return the item, and he does not want a product refund. He only wants the tax refunded from the original purchase, even though he did not pay for it and does not know the exact tax amount. According to him, if the store keeps that tax, it is basically holding public funds. The employee tries to explain that sales tax is paid to the government through the original purchaser, not the gift recipient. The conversation quickly turns into an accidental economics lesson where tax theory collides directly with a very real feeling of being personally wronged. Story 15. Returning a product box. But inside is something else. If you think the inside of a product box always matches what is printed on the outside, you are putting way too much faith in reality. In retail, the box is sometimes just a prop, and the contents inside are a little plot twist reserved for whoever is brave enough to open it. And when that twist shows up, responsibility always belongs to someone else. Our main character brings a product box to the counter looking absolutely perfect from the outside. Seal intact sticker, untouched, zero red flags. Then the box gets opened and inside is something completely unrelated, like the product went through an identity swap program. The customer calmly announces that this is obviously the manufacturer's fault. According to him, he is just a victim of a mysterious supply chain. The employee watches this scene with concerning familiarity and realizes this is very much not their first time seeing this kind of creative incident. The room goes quiet because everyone knows this story has been told way too many times. Story 16. Returning a gift basket after almost finishing it. If you think evaluating a gift should stop before it disappears, then you have not fully understood the spirit of needing the full experience. For some customers, if you do not eat it, you do not know, and if you do not know, you cannot make a fair decision. The logic sounds very scientific until the basket is left with nothing but packaging. Our main character shows up with a gift basket that is noticeably lighter than it once was. Inside, most of the contents have already completed their nutritional mission. The customer explains very sincerely that he had to eat almost everything to be sure he did not like it. According to him, this was a serious evaluation process, not taking advantage. When the employee gently points out that there is almost nothing left to return, the customer argues that the experience already happened and an experience deserves a refund. The line between product evaluation and system exploitation becomes very thin as policy struggles to stand its ground against an argument that has been very thoroughly digested. Story 17: Returning a game after using the code because he is only returning the shell. If you think using a game download code ends all return possibilities, then you have not met customers who apply environmental logic in very creative ways. In this mindset, digital content that has been used is considered done, but the physical box is still a refundable asset. And once the environment is brought into the argument, everything suddenly sounds more ethical. Our main character walks into the store holding a game box that still looks fairly new, but the download code inside was activated long ago. He asks for a refund and explains that he is only returning the shell since the actual game now lives safely in his personal account. According to him, refusing to refund the box alone is a waste of resources. The employee patiently explains that a game is a single product and cannot be separated into content and packaging. Environmental logic is being applied in the wrong place, leaving behind the familiar awkward silence. Story 18: Returning a winter coat in the middle of summer and a stock market lesson. If you think summer is the worst time to talk about winter coats, then you have not met customers who treat shopping like financial investing. In this mindset, weather is just a short-term factor while product value is the long-term story. And once something is an investment, profits must be protected. Our main character walks into the store in peak summer heat holding a heavy winter coat. He asks to return it and demands a refund at the original full price, not the discounted price he paid. According to him, the later price drop is like a temporary stock dip and does not reflect the true value. The customer compares the coat to the stock market. Buy low, sell high is an investor's right. The employee tries to explain that the store does not operate like a trading floor. The room grows quiet where economics meets fashion and both sides refuse to understand each other. Story 19: Demanding to exchange a restaurant gift card for grocery money. If you think a restaurant gift card can only be used at a restaurant, then you have not met customers who believe anything related to food should be fully interchangeable. In this logic, meals have no fixed location, and money is just an inconvenient middle step. Once food is involved, all boundaries should be flexible. Our main character walks into the store holding a restaurant gift card with full value intact. He has no interest in dining in, does not care about service, and does not want the experience. He simply wants to exchange the card for cash so he can buy groceries and cook at home. The reasoning is simple. Restaurants sell food, grocery stores sell food. So what is the difference? The customer presents this argument as an economic truth. The employee listens and then explains that a gift card is tied to a specific business model, not the general concept of nutrition. The store's flexibility stops exactly where logic starts slipping out of the system. Story 20: Returning a broken item because of design flaw. If you ever thought dropping something was a matter of personal responsibility, then you have underestimated the creativity of blame shifting. In certain ways of thinking, gravity is not a natural law, but a poorly managed design factor. And when a product does not survive a fall, the question is not who dropped it, but why it broke. Our main character walks into the store holding an item that is very clearly broken. He calmly explains what happened. The item slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. But according to him, the issue is not user error. It is a design that is not friendly enough for an environment that contains gravity. The customer insists that if the product were designed better, it would not have broken when dropped. The employee listens and then has to explain the obvious. Gravity is a default setting, not a technical defect. The room grows quiet as the laws of physics are placed on trial at the counter. Story 21: Returning a handbag, but refusing to show identification. If you think returning a handbag always requires verification paperwork, then you have not met customers who treat anonymity as a basic civil right. In this logic, a gift receipt exists independently of any human being. No name, no history, no verification. And if it is anonymous, no one is allowed to ask questions. Our main character walks into the store carrying a fairly expensive handbag with a completely calm attitude. He asks for a return, presents a gift receipt, but firmly refuses to show any form of personal identification. According to him, requesting verification is a violation of privacy because a gift is not tied to identity. The employee explains that high-value handbags require identity confirmation for security purposes. The customer pushes back, his voice rising faster than reason. Eventually, security has to step in. Not because of the bag, but because the argument has moved beyond policy. The room goes quiet, where anonymity is no longer considered a valid concept inside the store. Story 22. Returning a product bought from a different store, because spiritually it is the same. If you think the place of purchase is an important detail when returning an item, then you have not entered a world where spirit ranks above receipts. In this logic, brand is just form, while essence is what truly matters. And once the essence is the same, every store should share equal responsibility. Our main character brings a product to the counter that looks familiar, but the receipt clearly comes from a completely different store. When the employee points out this very physical difference, the customer shakes his head. According to him, on a spiritual level, both stores sell the same thing, serve the same people, so there is no reason to refuse the return. The conversation quickly leaves retail and steps into philosophy. The customer talks about essence, similarity, and universality. The employee tries to stay calm, explaining that the system is not built to process abstract concepts. The room grows quiet, where philosophy stops at the wrong counter and policy is forced to win. Story 23. Returning a camping tent after a very memorable party. If you think camping tents are designed for peaceful nature, then you have not met customers who treat them as event venues. In this mindset, a tent is not just for sleeping, it is for living fully. And if something happens afterward, that is simply proof of a properly used experience. Our main character brings a tent to the counter that looks like it barely survived a small disaster. The fabric is wrinkled, the frame is bent. The smell of memories is still very present. He asks to return it and confidently claims it was used normally. According to him, camping includes food, music, friends, and a slight loss of control. The employee stares at the tent, trying to remember its original shape. It clearly used to be a tent, but now looks more like a crime scene exhibit. The conversation ends in silence, where the concept of normal use has been stretched far beyond any instruction manual. Story 24. Returning a towel and demanding every single dollar back. If you think returning a gift is simple, then you have never met families who treat every transaction like an internal accounting exercise. In this world, emotions are not enough for a refund. Every number has to match exactly, and when a gift was bought on sale, financial truth will eventually come to light. Our main character brings a towel to the counter, looking completely innocent. He asks to return it, but insists the store must refund the exact amount the gift giver originally paid, not $1 less. When the employee asks for the purchase price, he immediately calls home to confirm, like he is reconciling end-of-quarter records. The conversation quickly turns into a family audit. List price sale, price tax purchase date. Everything gets dissected. The employee listens in silence, realizing the towel is just an excuse. And this family has officially become a miniature accounting department where family bonds are measured in receipts. Story 25. Returning a device because it is watching me. If you think technology only collects data when it is turned on, then you have not met customers who believe it starts monitoring straight from inside the box. In this mindset, technology does not need power, it only needs intent. And once suspicion begins, every detail becomes evidence. Our main character walks into the store holding a still-sealed device, his face tense like he just uncovered a national-level secret. He demands an immediate return because he believes the device is watching him. When the employee suggests opening the box to check the product's condition, the customer immediately refuses. According to him, opening the box would only activate it even more. The employee tries to explain that return policy requires a physical inspection of the item. The customer argues that the policy does not account for invisible threats. The exchange quickly turns into a face-off between conspiracy theory and store procedure, where logic stands still and suspicion runs perfectly on its own. Story 26. Returning a dead plant because I did not know it needed water. If you think plants survive because they are watered, then you are assuming basic biology is common knowledge. In some special cases, plants are treated as passive decorations, surviving on good air and positive intention. When the plant dies, the problem is not the user, but a lack of spiritual level instructions. Our main character brings a plant to the counter that has completely given up on life. The leaves are dry, the stem is limp, the soil is desperately thirsty. He asks for a return and very sincerely explains that he did not know plants needed water. According to him, if the store did not clearly say so, it cannot expect customers to figure it out on their own. The employee gently asks how he took care of the plant. The customer replies that he placed it near a window and let nature handle the rest. The conversation ends in silence, where third-grade biology has been forgotten and store policy has no category for a plant that died due to a misunderstanding. Story 27. Returning a book because he did not like the ending. If you think books are not products with warranties, then you have forgotten one thing. Personal expectations really like refunds. In some very confident lines of thinking, authors have the right to create, but customers have the right to disagree with the ending. And when dissatisfaction appears returning, the item feels completely reasonable. Our main character walks into the store holding a book that has clearly been read all the way to the final page. The spine is softer. A bookmark is still inside, and his expression is full of literary disappointment. He asks to return the book because he did not like the ending. Not because of a printing error, missing pages, or defects, but because the story did not go where he wanted. When the employee asks if he finished the book, the customer nods without hesitation. According to him, only by finishing it can someone judge it fairly. The employee gently explains that literature does not come with an emotion-based return policy. The room grows quiet where creative freedom collides with the desire for a refund over an unsatisfying ending. Story 28. Returning jewelry because of a breakup. If you think jewelry only loses value over time, then you have not accounted for the breakup factor. In some cases, the precious metal is still intact. The stone still shines, but the meaning has completely collapsed. And when emotions fall apart, customers believe the store should help deal with the aftermath. Our main character walks in with a piece of jewelry still in its box, his eyes carrying a story much longer than the receipt. He asks to return it because he just broke up with his partner. According to him, the jewelry no longer has a place in his current life, but the request does not stop there. The customer suggests that the store call his ex to confirm the relationship status in order to properly complete the refund process. The employee freezes for a moment, then politely refuses, explaining that the store sells jewelry, not emotional mediation services. The moment closes in silence where love has expired, but store policy has never included breakup counseling. Story 29. Returning a prank gift. Because I thought it was real. If you think prank gifts exist purely to make people laugh, then you have underestimated how serious some customers can be. In this world, anything boxed, labeled, and placed on a shelf is obligated to be sincere. And when humor appears without emotional consent, trouble begins. Our main character brings a prank gift box to the counter, the kind designed to fool the recipient. The outside looks convincing, the inside is completely useless. He asks to return it for a simple reason: he thought it was a real product. According to him, a store should not sell unserious items in a serious environment like retail. When the employee explains that it is clearly labeled as a prank gift, the customer shakes his head. He insists he does not accept the concept of prank gifts in adult life. The room goes quiet where seriousness was applied in the wrong place and humor never got the chance to defend itself. Story 30. Returning a candle after burning it because it burned faster than emotions. If you think candles are made to slowly burn over time, then you are looking at this too physically. For some customers, a candle is not just wax and a wick, it is an emotional support tool. And when the emotions do not reach their peak before the candle visibly shortens, someone has to be responsible. Our main character walks into the store holding a candle that has been burned down by about 1/3. The wax surface is no longer smooth and the wick has done its job quite efficiently. He asks to return it with complete honesty. The candle burned faster than the emotional state he was trying to build. According to him, the burn time did not match his original emotional expectations. The employee calls a manager to handle the situation. The manager listens and then gently explains using basic physics. Candles burn because of heat, not because of mood. The room grows quiet where emotions are stopped by the non-negotiable laws of nature. Story 31. Returning a product because it did not deliver the desired spiritual result. If you think a product is only responsible for performing its physical function, then you have not reached the highest tier of modern retail expectations: emotional performance. At this level, an item must not only work, it must feel right, create the right mindset, and produce a better version of the user afterward. If it does not, it has failed. Our main character walks into the store with a product that is completely intact. No defects, no damage, no technical issues. He asks to return it because after using it, he did not feel better. The product did not bring peace, did not create motivation, and did not improve his mental state the way he imagined. The employee silently escalates the situation to the manager. After listening, the manager responds with the most definitive no of his retail career. No long explanation, no emotional negotiation. Some boundaries exist that even store policy is not allowed to cross. Outro. When gift receipts can't be returned for logic. After all these stories, one truth keeps showing up like it pays rent. Gift receipts can exchange items, exchange money, even exchange emotions, but they absolutely cannot be exchanged for logic. In retail, paperwork is designed to handle products, not to fix expectations, beliefs, or arguments that were born right at the return counter. Every customer walks in carrying their own version of reality. Some believe feelings outrank systems, some think personal experience can override policy, and some treat the store like a help desk for everything from finances to philosophy to their emotional well-being. But systems don't have feelings, and logic does not negotiate. So here's the final question for you, the one listening to all these stories. If one day you're standing at the return counter, are you bringing the product, or are you bringing your beliefs with you?